Japan. A wonderfully curious, raw, delicious, ramen-y mix of a place. Okay, jumping right in. We started our trip in Tokyo, duh, and we had to get sushi. Oh, would you look at that? Spanish. I never read a sushi menu in Spanish. Hueva de salmón. And that's enough. Coming from LA, we've gotten some great sushi, and I wondered, how much better could it be? Okay, we're in Japan. Of course it's better. I literally tasted the land and the sea, and did I mention this was just a chain restaurant? But what I was really looking for on this trip was... Matcha! I am obsessed with matcha tea, and we were in the birthplace of matcha, so I had to get some. By the way, I noticed right away that everything around in Tokyo was just so cute! So cute! Okay, maybe not everything. What's up with this bathroom? I don't want to know. So we were lucky enough to meet up with my cousin Paul and his wife Aya, who live in Fukuoka, and who humored me by going to one of those famous owl cafes. So we had to pet each one in a certain way so they won't bite your head off. Not scary at all. I mean, it's not like they're vicious or anything, right?
They're predators, you know, so they eat meat, so he probably thinks that's a baby chick, he's trying to eat it.
Oh my god. That could be me. Okay, so I had to give it a try. I mean, I was all the way over here, right? Okay, there, I did it. See? Okay, but what I was really into was the cute little Shiba Inu who was here too. I learned this pupper was named after the famous Hachiko, a Japanese Akita dog from the 1930s remembered for his amazing loyalty to his owner, for whom he continued to wait at the same train station even 9 years following his owner's death. Next was the famous Shibuya crossing, seen in so many films where traffic stops and people cross from all sorts of directions. I know, kind of like the Times Square in Tokyo. And upon Neil's request, I tried to stand still in the middle to do a fun capture. My cousins were sweet enough to give us a tour of this side of Tokyo and go to dinner. But you know what I was really looking for? Yes! Matcha. All different grades and colors. All to eat. Oh, matcha made of anything. Matcha lattes, matcha ice cream. Matcha on matcha on matcha. Okay, after all that matcha, it was time for a taco break. Okay, hear me out. I have celiac disease, and it was the only place nearby that I could eat at. And Taco Rico did live up to its name. Decent. Speaking of Spanish, we had to check out Don Quixote. I know, weird name for a store that has everything and anything you never knew you didn't need. Okay, so those were the only words we recognized on our own, but I was told if you learn any phrase while you're here, it has to be which apparently is used in a variety of situations. Okay, this inspired a real Japanese lesson from my new cousin Aya. I wondered how some common Spanish words and phrases would translate into Japanese. So the first one is, Hey chica! そこのお姉ちゃん. そこのお姉ちゃん. The next word is mija. Mija. かわいいお嬢ちゃん. かわいいお嬢ちゃん. Like that? Okay. That's a lot of words. This next one is, I don't know if you'll have a word for it. We'll try. ¿Cómo chingas? ¿Cómo chingas? イライラさせないで. 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 How do you say muy terrible? Next was Kyoto. Beautiful, and was just as magical as you see it in the movies, and just happens to be one of the original sources of, yep, you guessed it, matcha! Matcha everywhere, as far as the eye can see. I was done playing games and I was ready for a legit matcha tea ceremony. But first, the bamboo forest. I highly recommend it. If you only go to one place in Kyoto, go here. This beautiful big forest just made you feel so small and a little dizzy. Okay. I feel like I was the only one dressed for the weather, and I soon realized why. Yeah. Wear pants or bug spray. Next was the Golden Temple, or Pavilion, a Zen temple made in the 1400s but redone in 1955 after it was set on fire by a fanatic monk. I was ready to get my Zen on at the Gyoen National Garden, which is supposed to be the most relaxing... God, I hate pigeons.
Good job you're in a Zen garden.
When in Kyoto, you have to see all the beautiful temples rich with Japanese imperial history, which made me feel so...
I'm tall. Finally.
Then Neil led me to a narrow abandoned alley, which made me feel safe. What? He took me to a real Japanese tea ceremony.
This is the best day of my life.
Thanks.
Unfortunately, we couldn't take video, but I did learn and take pictures that the 4 basic principles of the Japanese tea ceremony are harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility. We then went to the best matcha tea store of all stores to bring some home, and during the ceremony, we learned that the finest quality matcha came from Uji, Kyoto. And here when Neil asked smartly, which of these are Uji matcha? The saleswoman replied, "Sir, all of our matcha here is from Uji." Burn. But the caffeine had me hype, so we slowed down with a sake flight at a gluten-free restaurant. What? That made a gluten-free version of a traditional Kyoto dish called okonomiyaki. Yes, as long as you pronounce it in Spanish, you're probably not that far off. Miracles happening all over Kyoto, y'all. Okay, so it kind of looked like chilaquiles, but the flavors were so unique and the batter was so different, but altogether so damn good.
This is not a shot.
What is it?
Not Patron.
And more sake.
What is it?
Honestly, can't remember the rest of that night. Next was Osaka, a very modern city in contrast to Kyoto, but not as big as Tokyo. And even though we were miles away from Neil's England stomping grounds, we managed to find an Osaka castle. And this time, I was appropriately dressed. Yeah, it was hot. So Osaka is known to be a foodie's paradise, unless you're gluten-free, like me. So this was Neil's turn, where he indulged in some Kobe beef street food. Among many, many, many other foods I can't fit in this video.
How is it?
We did make an effort to search for street food that I could eat, but to no avail. Until we found some potatoes. Yay. But then on the corner of Heaven and Shimamachi, I found Komekonoko Laboratory and Cafe that had the best slice of carrot cake I've ever had. Oh, this was a dream. Can you taste it? Then I had more sushi. Which brings us to the end. I know, I could go on forever about all the things I ate, saw, or didn't see, experienced that made Japan one of the most fulfilling and interesting trips I've ever taken, with surprises and cute shit at every corner. It was also a great reminder that no matter where you go or what you do, remember that life is an adventure, and that we live from moment to moment. And while some moments may be fleeting, happiness is truly a state of being. And what a magical journey that can be.